Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, when it comes to picking a financial advisor, what are some questions that you should be asking him or her before you make your decision? That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, the stock market keeps hitting higher highs every single day. If you're looking at your 401k plan or your portfolio, you should be doing well, but could you be doing better with the help of a financial advisor? And if you did get financial help, what are some questions that you should be asking the financial advisor so you make sure that you're getting somebody who's working in your best interest? To talk about that today, Mitch Kramer. He is the CEO and founder of Fluent Financial. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, Jeff, thank you for having me. Those are some really good questions. Everyone looks really well when the stock market is up, but how does your portfolio look when the tide goes out, so to speak? I think some really key questions you should ask your financial advisor. Do they follow the suitability methodology or the fiduciary methodology? And the difference is suitability. The broker advisor gives advice that could be beneficial for the client. You can drive a Mack truck through that. A lot of your commission-based advisors follow that kind of standard methodology. A fiduciary standard is much higher. And as a certified financial planner, we have to follow the fiduciary standards, and our firm has done that for more than 20 years. And the fiduciary standard basically states you have to do what's in the best interest of clients at all times, point out any conflicts of interest. And because we have followed that, our firm has been very blessed and fortunate that we've never had a lawsuit or complaint in 25 years.
So if for the person whose financial advisor might be getting them in and out of investments all the time, they may be making money each time they're getting in and out, and that's a warning sign.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. And I think it's real important that you should be able to communicate with your financial advisor. It should be a partnership where the client is the CEO of the relationship and the financial advisor is the CFO that works for the client.
What are some of the big myths about financial services?
Oh, this is a really, really big one. Probably one of the biggest myths that we see is that financial advisors have told their clients for years, you can only pull out 4 to 5% of the portfolio nest egg at retirement. And with interest rates decreasing to record low levels, a lot of bonds that made up a 60-40 portfolio are adding very minimal value in terms of diversification and producing income. So if you're going to pull 4% out of a portfolio, you need $2.5 million if you want to put $100,000. Now, our firm has come up with some interesting concepts and strategies that allow people to pull out that same amount of money, $100,000 per year, with $1 million nest egg.
Wow.
And we've not come across any firms in the country that have done this. I'm sure there's some hedge funds and some maybe private equity firms that do this, but they're not really available to the common retail investor.
And that's like taking your nest egg and turning it into a paycheck.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, you have been honored by countless organizations. One of your recent awards, let's go ahead and put that on the screen. It's the Women's Choice Award for Financial Advisors, and that was USA Today. Tell us about that award.
Yeah, it's an award that our firm is real proud of. We find that oftentimes women clients are more receptive to advice. They ask better questions, and we've always focused on spending a lot of time with our clients through the education phase. And we'll talk a little bit more about the name of the company here in a minute. But I think over the years, we've really tried to understand women's issues. A lot of times they're running the household where their husband or partner is the major breadwinner. But I think over the years, because of our communication and success working with women, that's led to the awards.
And there's been countless cases where a woman is leaving all of the financial stuff to the husband passes,
Yes.
all of a sudden they're in charge of their own future, and they don't even know where the safety deposit box key is, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's very, very true, Jeff, especially with the baby boom generation. As we look at the X and Yers and millennials, we're actually seeing a shift in that. More and more women are taking the front row seat or are more in charge of the financial planning and investment decisions for the family. We've always made it a point that if you're talking with a husband and wife, in the case of a baby boomer, that particular person was the major breadwinner. But we would focus on most of the meeting, focusing on the woman, educating her to make her feel comfortable. And we would do that through education. We'd ask probing questions. We don't want to insult her. What we'd like to do is kind of establish the baseline, what she knows, and build upon that so she's very comfortable. So very rarely have we ever lost a client when the husband dies. And we've actually picked up a lot of clients over the years where a couple was working with another firm and the wife had no relationship with the financial advisor.
Very smart. We're going to show a page off your website because you guys have a wide range of services. Why don't you go through some of them for us?
Well, the range of services, as you're looking on the website, are the 6 areas of the CFP board of standards. You have a cash flow management, you have a protection planning, you have investment planning, tax planning, retirement planning, and estate planning. And those are the main tenets of a comprehensive financial plan. And while our firm, yes, it manages assets, we really do focus on financial planning. So putting together a comprehensive financial plan so you can kind of check and monitor your progress. Are you on track that you can retire on time? Or are you going to make adjustments now so you don't have to work longer than you'd like?
Let's talk a little bit about estate planning, because every couple of years it seems like we'll lose a major celebrity and then there'll be this big court fight. I'm thinking
Yes.
about Aretha Franklin. I'm thinking about Prince,
Yep.
Michael Jackson.
Sure.
These are very
Britney Spears.
smart people. Yeah,
Yeah.
smart people who accomplished a lot in their lives but didn't spend enough time thinking about their own death.
Yeah, it's in of the 6 areas. I tell our clients this. The only time we really force our clients to take action, Jeff, is with estate planning. And we don't earn a dime for it. But what happens is when you accumulate wealth, and a lot of our clientele is first generation wealth, they plan, they do everything appropriately. And their kids grow up in that wealth. Their kids grow up in a millionaire type family. And then their kids marry people, and maybe the spouses that the kids marry become the biggest threat to that nest egg, prevents it from getting to that 3rd generation. So there's a division of our company called Age Fluent that deals with these specifically family governance issues, because I like to tell people, let's have discussions that are fact-based, not emotion-based. You don't want to do estate planning when everyone is in the hospital with all these tubes lined up and everyone's emotional wreck. So let's be proactive and let's do estate planning and do some age fluent planning to say, let's face it, you have more years behind you than you do in front of you. What can we do today to make sure the remaining years of your life are handled in the manner you wish?
And let's put that graphic up on the screen so people can see what we're talking about here. You make a great point that you have that first generation that made the fortune. The second generation can often blow the fortune. Sometimes they're marrying somebody who could be a risk to the fortune.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the third generation, what happens there?
Well, in most cases, if there's no planning, majority of that money's gone by the 3rd generation. So the grandkids of the first generation wealth do not really get a chance to benefit without proper planning. And I said that oftentimes the biggest threat to your nest egg is the future son and daughter-in-law who divorces your child because they married your child for the balance sheet, not because of the person.
How do you deal with the young investor who wants to put it all on a meme stock or maybe some Bitcoin? What are some of the things that you say to the young risk taker?
Yeah, I think I don't discount that. I think it's always good to invest money because there's educational lessons to be learned. But it's just like if you go to Las Vegas or Choctaw or some other place locally, you always want to gamble with money you can afford to lose. For your financial planning long-term investments, it doesn't make sense to do that. But let's say you are going to do that. One of the biggest things you should do is put in place stop losses or trailing stop losses when you can. And again, what we're trying to do is remove the emotion out of that decision and make it fact-based. Because if you make emotional decisions, oftentimes the outcome does not come out as well.
Mitch, we only have about a minute left, so what are some final thoughts?
I think the final thoughts are that financial planning, because defined benefit pension plans are becoming like dinosaurs, and you need to take action early. One of the biggest assets you have in your financial planning life is time. If you make proper planning decisions, take action today, you can get to your retirement goals sooner, and also ask really very clear questions about how is your financial planner going to create that retirement paycheck.
Outstanding. You've been a great guest. We're going to put your website up to end the segment. Fluentfinancial.com is the website. Mitch Kramer, the founder and CEO. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.